But the front page of the Daily Mail today, Rachel Reeves hit by the biggest job slump since COVID. As she heads to Davos, there's fresh alarm over the faltering economy and warnings from investors of a debt spiral. Well, let's talk now to James Watt, who is, of course, the founder of BrewDog, the very, very successful brewery right here in the United Kingdom. He's from Scotland originally. He's basically said that there has never been a more difficult time to start a business in the UK. It's like that old joke, James, isn't it, where somebody says, you know, how do you start a small business in Britain? You know, start off with a big one and watch it sink into oblivion. But, I mean, it's not going well, is it?
I am so nervous about the future of the UK economy at the moment. There's never been more millionaires leaving the UK,
Right.
30 a day. These are the job creators, the wealth creators, the people who pay a disproportionately high proportion of taxes. It's such a difficult time to be an entrepreneur, so difficult to set up a business. Almost 200,000 small businesses failed last year. The environment, the climate is just so difficult. And Labour, with their budget, have taken a difficult situation for businesses and just made it far, far more difficult. And I believe we're actually going to have a recession this year. And like I said, just a very, very difficult time for the UK economy and for businesses in the UK overall.
And for guys and businesses like yourselves, which is I don't want to insult you by calling it medium sized, but I mean, you employ probably a lot of people. Your national insurance bill is probably going up. I've got a friend in Scotland who runs a bunch of businesses. His national insurance is going up by £250,000. There's nothing he can do about it. He can't put his prices up. You know, he's in hospitality. He can't, you know, get rid of people because he needs all the people that he's got working for him. He can't get around the national insurance rules, and so for an awful lot of people there's a lot of pain coming.
A huge amount of pain, and for me, like, no country, no economy has ever taxed their way to economic growth. The national insurance, when it hits, we're going to see unemployment increase, and there's very scary unemployment numbers coming out today. I think it's going to tip us into recession. Prices are going to have to go up a little bit. It's just going to make it so much more difficult to create jobs and drive the UK economy forward at a time that we need it. And the only answer the government probably has is more debt at a time where our debt is already crippling us. It's taken up far too much of our taxes, and we just increase the burden of future generations.
Right. And I mean, presumably people like yourself, again, you might have had projects that you wanted to explore. You might have had investments that you wanted to make in new products. You might have wanted to, you know, do some more research or something like that, or hire a bunch more people. I presume all of those things are currently on hold, are they?
Absolutely. It's not just for my business, it's for pretty much every UK business. So I was speaking to a CEO of a UK hospitality business. It's got a few hundred venues. And he's like, this is going to cost us an extra 35 million each year. That's 35 million that we can't invest in growth, in the economy, in services, and making things better for our customers. But then half of that 35 million would be invested in services, construction, kind of making their facilities better. So it's just a huge hole that this is going to leave. And for me, what's left is just economic pain for the UK at a time when things are really, really difficult for businesses.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got statistics this morning that said that the government last month alone borrowed almost £18 billion. And, you know, they keep talking about, I mean, Rachel Reeves gave an interview the other day to the BBC in which she talks about her mother, you know, keeping all the receipts of everything and making sure that she didn't spend more money than she was getting in and all of this. And, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. My mother was you know, and you're just kind of going, are you economically illiterate? How can you borrow that kind of money when you know that the returns that you're getting in are actually diminishing because they're not getting more tax coming in? Yes, they'll get more national insurance probably, but on a general level, I think a lot of the measures they've tried to bring more tax in aren't going to work.
I mean, the debt is a massive, massive concern. And one of the things that I found most damaging about the budget was the reclassification of our debt to enable more debt. I mean, for me, it was the equivalent of a toddler pushing a clock forward a few hours to extend bedtime. So you get a little bit of fun, but you know you're going to pay for it very much the next day or in the future. And for me, what the government did with the budget, I am all for paying taxes. I'm all for investing in services and building the society that we want to live in. It's going to result in less tax revenue because we're going to get no economic growth. We're going to get a recession. Businesses are not going to be able to invest. So the government is actually going to get less tax revenue coming in, and it's just going to have to further increase taxes or going to borrow more. Yeah.
Do you think at any point they're going to sort of wake up and go, oh, actually, maybe we need to turn around this ship of state and we need to actually take a different approach?
Well, I actually wrote about this a few weeks ago, so I think we're probably technically in a recession at the moment. I think by the time we get to kind of May or June, the economic pain that the UK is in is going to be so severe that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves is going to have to wake up to that, and we're going to see perhaps a mini budget, perhaps relaxing of debt rules so they can borrow more, but like something is going to have to give in the next 6 months if nothing changes, and I'm scared about what that's going to be.
Yeah, I know. It's not good news, is it? James, great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. James Watt, founder of BrewDog. Very concerned about the future, very concerned about the present, to be honest, and very concerned about Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who doesn't seem to understand finance. It's got to be a bit of a worry, that, hasn't it?